Hello everyone, welcome to our Let's Play series of Pathfinder Kingmaker. This is Colonel RPG as usual, and I'm very happy to have you here with me as we do kingdom management and probably go back to P-Tax. Well, as soon as the teleport is done, because we have a teleporter being made in P-Tax, and it's all big fun, it's great. So a large trade caravan stopped at the capital. Its masters, as it is said, are major merchants of Andoran. It's time to show them some hospitality by not actually doing that, because we have the time to do that, and we don't have the people. A wealthy subject is seeking redemption of his past sins. He wishes to donate a large amount of money to charity. It should be spent on the right things. Yes, Kanara, I'm sure, is going to be very good. Very good. Because she's very good. But it's going to be very good at finding out what those best things are. I look forward to seeing the results of that particular thing. And as always, so very few choices, or no choices at all. Octavia's still blind, but it's fine. An amazingly impudent fellow, Gilladel. I have been approached by a wizard from Nex who has learned to create golems from piles of literal junk. Splinters of wood, rusty nails, broken furniture. He asks your permission to set up shop in the capital and start selling these junk golems. In return, he promises to provide us with a few of his finer creations. Now, you may find this surprising, but I'm convinced that we must reject his proposal. Do you know how golems are created? A mage must ensnare a living spirit from one of the elemental planes, most typically an earth elemental, and bind it to the construct. This means that golems are no better than slaves. After all, elemental spirits are living sentient beings. The mage even brags that his golems, quote, never go out of control, unquote, as if total domination of a spirit makes the whole thing any less cruel. Yeah, you're right. Perfect. It will be my pleasure to get rid of the crook, and I lost Arcane for that, which doesn't make sense, because it's not like we stopped doing any investigation. We already were not doing any investigation in that field, but that happened. And we have a new project. Support the Magister's endeavors. Ah, beautiful, beautiful support. Okay, did that work out? No, this is the one that I need to pay attention to. That's the one. And this one, no, just do away with that. Okay, now, we have something over here in the regions, which is to turn... There's another thing that I'm not doing, which is actually clicking on the buttons that show up over here. I'll show you. I'm not sure... Oh, trade guard doesn't have anything. No, wait, it's the region, like the outskirts. Trading ground. Oh. Right. Right, why, sure. Yeah, absolutely. We're gonna do this. It costs a little bit of money, but we have plenty of it. Or we had plenty of it, but now we spent it all. Let's see. Ransom in gold or iron. The Kelid warriors were obliged to serve the kingdom for a full year and bring in at least 10 enemy heads for every prisoner released. That is something. Arrears over here. The peasants in one of the regions, they refused to pay taxes, but then they were starving. After meeting with the peasants, the Grand Diplomat explained that if everyone stopped paying taxes, the queen wouldn't be able to pay the guard. Right, because they eat guard for supper. And there would be no one to protect her subjects from monsters. The peasants... Sure. The peasants came to their senses and brought their money out. Sure, the famine is completely irrelevant. Sure. A noble in trouble over here. The soldiers with which the general dispatched to help the noble quickly rescued her from her watery prison. Oh, the river thing. Oh, sure, whatever. It's just a noble. Who cares? Reduces a chance to... Oh, the lovely kingdom protection. Wait. It's another week. We're gonna need to wait another week until I see that consequence. The ancient curse is upon us. Is expected in 2 weeks. Don't tell me. Don't do that to me. Eureka! An outstanding local mage made an important magical discovery. He's going to Absalon to present his research to his foreign colleagues. There's no doubt that this will enjoy glory and wealth. This will enjoy? Bring glory and wealth there. But if he could be persuaded to stay and work for the crown, his research could... Yes, a patron. We are the best of patrons. We shall do that. Apparently for free. Did you notice how there was no price? Now, Amory doesn't like doing this, but it doesn't matter much. So I'll do... It doesn't matter because it doesn't affect the chances. So that's good. And then we have a bunch of things down here in the regions. Horse breeding center, but we can't do that. Royal hunting grounds, yeah, that doesn't matter. Mountain resort, bread and circuses, and guard headquarters. Varnhold has suffered enough. Make safety this region's top priority. For any problem that could be resolved by the warden in this or any adjacent region, roll 2 checks and pick the best result. So you get to roll advantage. That's not too shabby. But it's only for the warden, so it doesn't matter much. Well, I guess I'm gonna go with rank up, because I want to see what that what Octavia has to do. So let's support somebody. We have community over here for 5. We have relations for 7. We have espionage for 3. Wardens. We have stability for 8. That's pretty good. Let's go with that. Serious? Let's do our thing. Things have gone so much faster since we got that thing that allows us to do these things in 7 days instead of 14. Stability 9 reached. I thought it was 8, but maybe it was already. The attack of the Ball Hilltop is expected in 2 weeks. Oh, we're probably gonna attack it. Let's see. The advisors people hired a friendly fae who explained how to repair the damage. Wait, this was the Merry Festival. This is not the one that I was looking forward to. They damaged a bunch of things. The spellcaster returned the river to its former bed. Raised... Yeah, we did this already. Before. And a triumph for the Forest Fae. Wait, this is also not the one. But it's a triumph, so it's good. The curator held a merry feast where the best of our bards competed against the best singers and musicians among the Fae. The magical revelry went on until morning. And we gained culture because of it. Of course, we now play the better music. Now redemption, let's see. The wealthy subject is seeking redemption for his past sins. The wealthy fool handed over his riches, but the money never made it to the poor. It went to the treasury instead, where it was most needed. Thanks, Kanara. It's money without any consequence for me, moral or otherwise. Cobblestone Druids over here, a group of city-dwelling druids who call themselves Cobblestone Druids, are offering to help the queen. That's very nice of them. I do like when people offer to help me. That is bad. Why do you appear over here even though you're worse? I'm not sure. Octavia is the believer in the free and unrestricted use of magic. That sounds like a good time for that. Oh, the warden needs to talk to me. Okay. I just want to go to the Bald Hilltop and get my ass handed to me. Because that's what's going to happen. We're going to die. And I put the difficulty back on normal. Oh, it's just Cirrus saying hi and telling me about things. No quest here. You just don't get the quests. That don't get to make the choices. I think that's what happens. Basically, you just don't get to make the choices. It's still the same. At the end of the day, it's the same thing. It's just don't get to hear what's going on and whatnot. So I got 1 rank up, which is for Cirrus, most likely, yes. And for economy, Wing Mold's Prevention System. On the lawful chaotic axis, +3 to resolve situations with a warden for a kingdom with a lawful alignment. My god, what is even that? That's way too much money for a +3 on a single one of them. No, it's actually theoretically +6, but it's still way too much money. It's for a single one, so who cares? Yeah, those things are... Actually, that one is... I don't need to be there. Wait, what? Oh, because that's economy. Right. These are not upgrade systems. They are just economy. Yeah, that's not too shabby. Jethal, you can do that, right? You're not needed anywhere. Typically. Sure, do that. Spends a lot of money, but it's fine. Let's go to the Bald Hilltop. And hopefully everybody has rested. Because I did, sort of. I just didn't heal. It's kind of complicated. There's an easy way to bypass that. It's just to heal yourself, basically. So, when it bugs. My god, did you see? Anyway, let's get Octavia out here. She who is blind. I say we're going to the Bald Hilltop. But there's nothing there. At least she's with us. So, yay for that. Let's see if I can teleport already. I can teleport to Pitax. This is good news. Let's go into the kingdom. Because I need, obviously, to build things. So we built some things over here, but we're not paying attention to that right now. We're paying attention to here, to Gnarl Keep. Entering that, because we built something here as well. And like the Longhouse, that requires an upgrade. Fortunately, the upgrades are instantaneous, so we don't need to follow up on that either. We got a shrine now. There's a temple. And it looks so nice back there as well. You just can't zoom in. In 1904, you can zoom in, and it's really fun and good. Such a fun game, my god. 1904 is it's great. I haven't played it in years. Well, 5 years, about thereabouts, since it came out. I think I have the new one. I think I have 2070, I think. The space one, but it's not as nice, because it's not in the medieval age. So what do we have? Right, buildings over here. Nothing to upgrade. Really? I built things over here, though. Well, the teleporter is there. That's what matters. And now we go to our actual city. This. That is now a city as well. And the bugged out thingy. We got Baraksh. Nicely upgraded as well. And that's about it. Good. Teleports. Because we have a lot of things to do in the west. We did have a cache over here somewhere that was found. I think it was just items. And we get the items. Doesn't really tell you what the items are. So teleport to Pitax. And here we are, instantaneous. Isn't that lovely? And we have 1 week to go to do things. Because we are going to be attacked. Let's see, middle of nowhere. We do have to meet Octavia's mother, so, you know, at the end of the day, that's really what counts the most. Lonely Mansion. So it was here and not in the map. No, middle of nowhere is in the map. Lonely Mansion is probably the Octavia's house. It's gonna require that. No longer blind. We got combat soundtrack. You wish to see the Marchioness? I suppose I do. Oh, he's going. He opens the door. Okay. It's just a servant. Please follow me, says the servant. No, well, the following is relatively limited. Considering you just went over there. But we got a cutscene. We're gonna fight. I bet we're gonna fight. What is it? I wasn't expecting guests. A woman comes out of the back rooms in a dress that was once expensive but is now moth-eaten and heavily mended. Her posture and gait give away a noble upbringing. She seems to be in her 40s, though some pain or suffering must have worn her beyond her years. Which means that she's really 20? Leaving wrinkles across her face and gray in her hair. I think she's 20. Because she seems to be in her 40s. So she must be 20, right? Or maybe 30. She's 30. I am Marchioness Clorida della Fiorni. Welcome to my manor. I am afraid I have nothing to offer you. Nor do I have the honor of knowing you. To what do I owe the pleasure? Oh, yeah, you can easily tell that she's poor. Because look at that painting over there. It's crooked. So obviously she's poor. She doesn't have the money to pay for people to put that right. Octavia goes up and she says, "Hello, mother." Octavia? Gods, my Octavia, is it really you? It's been so many years. The Marchioness steps forward to hug her daughter, tears in her eyes, but she stops when she sees Octavia's stony gaze. You're Octavia? You're? My last memory of you is selling me to the slave traders. And you dare to call me yours? No, your. You said your. You can say yours. Your. Cruel words, but fair. Octavia, my child, let me tell you what happened. Afterward, you may decide on your own what to do. even if it means you never wish to see me again. All I need to be happy is to know you are safe and sound. I'm listening. No, you're not. I'm asking questions here. Who was Octavia's father? I'm gonna ask. A pathetic wretch, and nothing more. A visiting elf swept a silly young girl off her feet, then vanished as soon as he learned she was expecting. I care not to even say his name. How did Octavia become a slave? My father, may his soul rest in peace, was a very stern man. Some would say cruel. When he found out if I was expecting the child of some adventurer, he expelled me from the house and cut me off from any inheritance. I scraped by on my own for 3 years, sewing, teaching, and the like. But then father discovered he was dying, and the Della Fiorni line would end. So he told me he would leave the full inheritance to me if I would only get rid of my disgrace. Get rid of you. And so you did, says Octavia. Traded me for an inheritance, I see. Reasonable, says Jaethal. No, it wasn't like that at all. I had a plan to deceive him, you know. I made arrangements with a man from the Technique League. He was supposed to take you to Numeria, keep you there until my father died, and then bring you back. I was trying to do what I thought was best for you, do you understand? I wanted you to grow up in your own manner, in luxury rather than poverty. But once father was gone, the man from the Technique League said he didn't remember any such arrangements. He said he bought you, had already sold you, and had no idea where you were anymore. Why didn't you buy her back, even though you already told me you couldn't? I had no idea where she was. Octavia, believe me, I continued to look for you all these years. I spent all of the inheritance hiring and investigators to scour Numeria and the River Kingdoms for you. But you were nowhere to be found. The Marchioness wipes tears from her eyes. I knew you were still alive. I could feel it. And I never stopped searching. I just wanted to see you again, just once. To at least beg your forgiveness. What do you say, Octavia? What is there to say? Mother, you're such a fool. You think we wouldn't have done fine without a title? I'd have grown up, learned some craft. We'd have been poor, probably, but at least we'd have been together. The Marchioness and Octavia hold each other tight. Will you stay? At least for a while, a little while. There's so much to talk about. Isn't it dangerous for you here, though, with just a couple of servants? There's a lot of disquiet in Pitax now, and trouble all around. Magical beasts, barbarians. I live in Gondolin now. Have you heard of it? It's recently established. Maybe you can... This is so ridiculous. It's recently established. Maybe you can move there, she says. I'll be able to tell you what I have been doing all this time and show you all that I have achieved. Gondolin, as you say, my child. I'll begin packing immediately. I'll be waiting for you. I'll give the order to pack and call for a carriage immediately, 'cause I am rich and have servants at all. See you soon, mother. I don't have servants, even though I am richer than you, most likely, 'cause my... girlfriend? I mean, we're banging. This is Octavia talking. Speaking about Gilladel. We're banging, so my girlfriend... Is that okay, Gilladel? Gilladel doesn't say anything. Yeah, my girlfriend has got a lot of money, so she can do the things. It's fine. And she goes away and... Oh! That was actually locked. Why was it locked? And why was it not a DC 5000? It was a DC 22, a easiest lock ever. It's just weird. But sure. Why was it even a door in the first place, really? Wait. That was a DC 38? What are you supposed to do there? If you fail that check, you get stuck. I mean, you don't fail this one, but there's no exit. Is the servant part of a bigger conspiracy? He locked the door Yeah, this game is weird. Because Octavia tends to have trickery, but she would fail that if you didn't level her up. And I said this was gonna be a fight. Well, it wasn't a fight, but almost. That lockpick was bad news. Bad news. Anyway, middle of nowhere. That's where we're going. Lovely place. We're going over through here. Sounds like a plan. Okay. Okay. Good. No. What is it? Located in the middle of the Pitaxian Plains, this place is somewhat unremarkable, aside from a sturdy-looking metallic door that can be found surprising any traveler who happens to pass by it. The door could lead to a dungeon or to some underground tunnels. No one has ever opened it to find out. Well, we're opening it. I don't care what Octavia says. She hasn't been with the team for a while. She's probably lagging behind on the level ups. Let's look at that, actually. So we're at 90... actually, almost 1 million. No, she's not too far back. Yeah, it's good enough. I mean, she's not like us. Oh, you have a freaking low level drain. You have a freaking level drain. I hate you. I hate you, Valerie. I don't even hate the person who put the level drain on you. It's probably like a monkey or a mouse rat. Mouse rat? That's the one. It's definitely how it works. Should pay attention to these things, shouldn't I? Yep. Oh, also, spells. Polar Ray. Horrid Wilting. Yes. Oh, you don't like Horrid Wilting? She doesn't like Horrid Wilting. But I do, so... wait. I don't have anything that goes there. I'm very good at the game. Polar Ray and Sunburst. Sounds like a good combination. Let me just move my microphone again. I just need to pick things from enchanting. Which is my, or actually transmutation, as it turns out. Get the acidic spray or acid spray or whatever. And I don't think anybody else needs anything. Yeah. It's only level 5 spells for a ranger, or it tends to be anyway. Which means a ranger can cast fireballs, which is a bad idea. Mostly because it doesn't matter much. I thought I was gonna be in a dungeon. I have been robbed of my dungeoneering. Well, we find dead people, so... We've dinosaur bone and piece of sky metal. Don't ask. Don't... It's complicated. Oh, that's the door. Well, I guess we're gonna get our dungeoneering on. Save the game. A solid door blocks the entrance. No, it doesn't. There's no entrance. The owner clearly doesn't care for uninvited guests. I could break the door down, for one. I couldn't. It's very difficult. I could try to pick the lock. Probably can. Let's use Detect Magic. Again, I don't know what it is or how to use it, because I don't have that spell, I don't think. The door literally shines with dozens of magical auras. It's impossible to see any pattern in this mess. It seems like the spells were thrown on the door occasionally and chaotically, rather than created in an elaborate order. Would that matter? Well, we also have the Bloodman's Key, I suppose. Let's try to pick the lock, because why not? The simple lock didn't stand a chance. The door quietly swings open. It was definitely not a simple lock. It was a DC 35. That's as complicated as it gets. Hiccup. It's just brutal. There's no level scaling in tabletop. Like, yeah. If you enter somebody's house, it's gonna be a DC 15 or something like that in their lock. It doesn't matter if you're level 1 or level 20. Actually, DC 15 for a lock in a medieval house. They probably wouldn't even have locks. Hi, friend. Maybe. It's Blakemore up there. They probably wouldn't even have locks. They would just have you know, beams to block the door from behind. Because locks are expensive. And, you know, you wouldn't have money for that. Unless you did, and you were, well, unless you had a reason to, if you did have money, you would have a reason to have locks, wouldn't you? That's another thing as well. So Blakemore is just over there casting some spells. A weird magical thing, obviously, of a faraway origin. Obviously, like, everybody knows. Well, I'm just stealing all the things. It's not like there's much over here. It's all things that get sold by just clicking offer on the little thing on the trading screen. It's all baubles and stuff. This one is not. I got an amulet. It's called the Charlatan's Locket. Makes all 0-level arcane spells cast by the wearer become empowered, extended, reach, and maximized. That's pretty awesome. I hope there's an item like that in Dungeons & Dragons 5, because my character wants that. Cloth over here becomes the robe of false death. The wearer gains immunity to critical hits, but suffers a -6 penalty to Constitution. And the binding of the prince. Wait. The 3 times per day, the wearer may throw this amulet at an enemy. If the target fails a DC 24 reflex saving throw, it becomes ensnared by the chain. The ensnared creature takes a -4 penalty to dexterity, a -2 penalty to both armor class and attack, and a bunch of other things that don't matter because I'm not going to use them. That Charlatan's Locket is pretty decent, though. Pretty good. A rusty metal thing. It's a very good text that we have in games. We like the game to describe things as ellipses thing for sure. That's how that's good. That's the good. Blakemore doesn't seem to be interested in us though. I like that. Mostly because that looks like a demon. A large and broad man turns to you, trying to smooth his thick, tousled hair. His deep voice could have belonged to a giant. Hey, who are you? Captain Martin sent me. For a moment, the man stares at you blankly and then smiles and heaves a sigh of relief. Oh, yes, Captain Martin. By all means, welcome to the dwelling of Blakemore the Wizard. How can I help you? What are you doing here? This humble dwelling is my workshop. It's where I'm creating my masterpiece, the Scion Magistic Grimoire, a calligraphic work of art. The client who ordered it is my good friend, Captain Martin. Oh, he must be getting so impatient by now. I'm so far behind schedule. I just want the grimoire to be perfect, you see. Perhaps it's time... I'd like to learn more about you. Where should I start? I am Blakemore the Wizard. I've seen many things and been to many places, from the northern realms of the Mammoth Lords to hot Katapesh and even to more exotic places such as the First World. Have you ever been to the First World, even though you just told me that you have been to the First World? I got into the First World by chance. But in spite of that, it was easy for me to find a job there. What is the First World? Isn't it just a place like a... We have been to the First World, and you found a job there? And you act like it's just a thing that people do when they go to places, find a job there. That's not even the case in real life, in, like, modern day. You go to places and you don't find jobs there. You might be there on vacation or visiting somebody. For the most part, that's what people do when they go to other places. Because, I say for the most part, actually, I don't have stats for that. I do wonder if the majority of travel to other places is for visiting, tourism, or otherwise. Rather than because you got a job there before. But certainly not job hunting. Can you imagine? I moved to Washington, and I'm looking for a job here. And I found one, because of course you can find a job in Washington. Seattle is very famous for being accommodating of people like that, for sure. It also never rains there, I'm told. It's the... Yeah. Let's see. I was soon substitute rector at a rather remarkable academy, which was located on the back of an elephant. Oh, that's where the rector comes from then, with 3 eyes and numerous tusks. Actually, the elephant had served as the former rector before he caught a rare elephantine disease. I moved on once he recovered. You should have said the other thing that refers to elephants. Pachyderm, I believe? Pachydermic disease? You should have said that, because it would have been more nice. Seeking new purpose, I wound up at the scene market where I made a bargain and came away with a fair amount of dangerous curiosity. Not curiosities. He now has a fair amount of curiosity, dangerous curiosity. And on top of that, a sack of, I was going to say potatoes, but he was not as fortunate. A sack of tobacco. That's how, yeah. Generously mixed with dirty thoughts, 4 to 1. A horrible mixture to smoke. But my purchases didn't make me happy. Soon after, my curiosity and a swarm of my good friends together helped me discover that one of the eldest, the Lantern King, was playing a trick on another elder. Shika was the name of the elder. Also, the squirrels were my good friends. By assuming her form and visiting her. Wait, what? She would be visited. Also, what do you mean visiting her? Because visitation, it's a thing you do to people who are bedridden. But it also is other things. You can visit people, but that's like, in what context are we talking about here? Chrono Mistress Shika always carefully avoided meeting herself, and she had been jumping all over the timeline like the water strider across the surface of the pond, because the Lantern King was assuming her form to trick her. Yes, you said that. After I revealed the game to her, I assume? I earned his unwanted attention, and it was time I left to the First World for good. As a gesture of thanks, Shika, it was to her. After I revealed the game to her, or I revealed her the game, although that's less proper, Shika opened a portal for me after I stepped in it. But after I stepped in it, I saw that Shika's appearance had changed, and in her place stood the Lantern King. It was not Golarion on the other side of the portal, but a far more dangerous place. So was that Katapesh? I wound up in Katapesh by pure chance. I was planning to sail further, but seasickness had overtaken me. Katapesh is an amazing place, but I had little chance to enjoy it. In the heat of an argument, then my then sweetheart decided to teach me a lesson. So she drugged me and sold me to a traveling nightmare circus. Aren't you a sweetheart forever? Isn't a sweetheart like a... What does sweetheart mean? It's just your girlfriend, sort of? Because, you know, my den girlfriend would make sense. My den sweetheart... Like, aren't you, like, doesn't sweetheart, like... Isn't like it when you are from childhood and love each other from childhood and something like that? Isn't that what sweethearts mean? I don't know. Anyway, there I earned my keep as a sword swallower. You know, not the fun kind, though. And the crowd was just crazy about me. It wasn't such a hard job to learn, though it made things a bit more complicated that I had to use real combat swords. I traveled with the circus until I got a chance to escape. As well, a well-known captain, the Hurricane King, came to see one of our performances. He accused me of being a fake, and challenged me to swallow his magnificent rapier, a weapon he cherished more than life itself. Rapiers are actually I would say probably easier, because they don't have a blade. They only have a point. As an audience applauded, well, there are examples of bladed rapiers, but they're very rare, and they weren't very common. As the audience applauded, I performed the trick. It ended with my spectacular disappearance in a cloud of smoke, when the reprobate came to his senses and hurried to find me and his cherished rapier. I had already sold it to an unscrupulous vendor, because you definitely weren't the one without scruples, and was heading north to flee his revenge. That is why I try to stay away from the southern lands. What about the north? While taking part in an expedition quite contrary to my intentions, I found myself hunted by some barbarians. While trying to escape, I climbed up into the mountains, so high that the barbarians had to abandon their quarry to the mercy of icy winds and avalanches. So I plodded across the highland until I spotted the little light in the darkness. It turned out to be a tavern where a celebration was underway. The Highlanders weren't too happy to welcome an intruder, but they agreed to give me shelter if I beat them in a challenge. I noticed a sturdy fellow with a simple face wrapped in a cloak, so I picked him to be my rival, because of course. And the competition was gluttony, even though the gluttony is just you wanting to eat things. It doesn't actually mean you eating all the things. You can be more gluttonous and eat less than a person who eats more and is less gluttonous. The savage snatched my backpack, turned it inside out, and started to cram all of my equipment into his mouth. In a short moment, the greedy Highlander had swallowed all of my stuff, the backpack too, and gobbled my axe down for a dessert. The barbarians were already making bets how long I would last out in the cold. Then I tore the mammoth's skull from the wall, broke its tusk off, and rushed for the huge barrel of beer that comprised the entire wall. I kicked the cork out, put the tusk under the rushing stream of beer. I filled it up like a drinking horn and started to gulp. My memories of the following hours, are hazy. I vaguely remember the Highlanders being extremely angry at me for drinking all their beer. I remember how they started to turn into great beasts, and my rival became a wolf with blazing eyes. He charged me, but I caught him by his ears, shoved the mammoth's tusk in his mouth like a bit. Because a bit is the chomping at the bit. You put that in a horse or any animal that you put the thing on. The thing. I don't know the name of the thing, but the bit is the thing between the teeth to hold the whole harness in place. That's what it was. Shove the mammoth's tusk in his mouth like a bit. Because a bit is a not very common word in English, even though it is used in the whole, biting, chomping at the bit idiom, but elsewhere it's not used very commonly. Anyway, then tied my mustache to both ends to form reins. Enraged, the wolf rushed out into the night, with me firmly planted on his back. We ran through the blizzard, and the vile dog whined in anger and humiliation. In the morning, he stopped running and fell, exhausted. I looked around and realized there was not a single snowflake around. In the wild race, we had crossed the borders of Golarion and entered an amazing place, the ancestor of all other worlds. I took pity on the wolf and let him go. He ran away at once. As for me, many adventures and exploits still laid ahead. Amory listens to the story with suspicion, but in the end she roars with laughter. So that's who drank all that beer in that tavern. Our tribe liked to stay there, but there was that one time they had no beer and a mammoth's tusk was broken. But the thing about the werewolf owners, that's a lie. They're not werewolves, I should know. Amory looks back at you hesitantly as though seeking support. Yeah, Amory, I don't know what support you want. There are more important things to discuss. Like, it's time for me to go. My doors are always open to you. Yes, they will have to be open next episode, though, because we're out of time. So for right now, I'm Colonel RPG, and this has been Pathfinder Kingmaker. I really hope you've enjoyed it, and if you did, go ahead and leave a comment, like the video if you want to see the next episode come out sooner rather than later. But above all, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you next episode. Bye-bye.